Okay, so this is a woman by the name of Paige. Her handle is she's a page turner. Yeah, but for all the wrong reasons, she's a page turner. And you'll see why. So let's play this clip.
I don't do my husband's laundry. And a lot of people are saying, whoa, 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 those are small acts of kindness. Why wouldn't you want to do that for your partner? But here's the thing, small acts of
Oh,
kindness that are
whoops.
mostly domestic labor just add up to work at
There
the
we
end of
go.
the day. So here's a list of things that I don't do for my husband. You all know I don't do his laundry. He can do that himself. I do my laundry and we do the kids' laundry, but he does his own. I don't cook dinner. He cooks dinner every single night. I do breakfast and lunch for us and our kids. I don't pack him a lunch. If he's hungry, he'll figure out what he's.
I want you to remember that he cooks dinner every night. Okay, so the husband is in charge of cooking dinner. Very, very important for the next video.
To eat for lunch the same way that I do. I don't make his doctor's appointments because guess what? He's not making mine. Would it be kind of me to do that? For sure. Is it my job? Absolutely not. I want him to be healthy, but he's a grown ass man and he can book his own appointments, right? There's a lot of things that I don't do for my husband. I don't schedule his haircuts. I don't pack his clothes for vacation, right? I don't do those things. I don't buy him new underwear when it's got holes in it. All of those are things that he's a grown man and he can do himself. Can I do small acts of kindness for him? Of course I can. And I do. I see a vinyl that I think he's going to like because he's creating a vinyl collection. I buy it. I'm at the store and I see something that I think he might enjoy eating. I buy it. I find a new non-alcoholic beer that he wants to try out. I buy it. Right? Those are small acts of kindness. Doing his laundry, cooking him dinner, making him lunch, booking his doctor's appointments, all those things, that's domestic labor. Those are chores. Those are not acts of kindness. Do I do them occasionally when he's working a lot? Of course. Do I cook dinner sometimes when he's had a really long day? Of course. But me not doing that does not mean that I don't show him love or kindness. They're different things. It is not my job as a wife, it is not in my job description to do all the domestic labor as small acts of kindness to my partner and receive nothing in return. I agree with this commenter. If it's going both ways, fantastic. But oftentimes, domestic labor, especially when you have children, adds up. And so, no, I am not my husband's personal secretary or his personal assistant. I am none of those things. I am his partner, I am his equal, and I do not have to do things to cater to him and serve him at all times to be kind and loving for him. A few weeks ago,
Actually, you kind of do have to do things for your spouse to show them that you love them. You kind of do. Those acts of service actually mean something to your spouse. And by the way, just to let you know what her spouse does, her spouse is a lineman. He is doing one of the most dangerous jobs known to man, like a 400% fatality rate. So I think the least you could do when he is risking his life for you on a day to day basis is cook the man dinner. Maybe do his laundry. And what's her job? As far as I'm aware, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she's a content creator. So not a real job. And I say that too because I do what I'm doing for fun. This is fun for me. Doesn't feel like work. It's not hard, it's not labor intensive. It's just something fun to do. It's a hobby. So her job is a glorified hobby, making reels on TikTok. Now I'm not TikTok. Man, I sound like a boomer. TikTok. But I'm not saying that there's not work involved in it. Yeah, it takes work editing a video and posting a video, but it's not labor intensive. There's not a day of editing, videos where I'm like, oh man, I am physically beat from all that editing. Maybe mentally like, oh, I can't figure this out or something like that. But it's not taxing on me physically. It's not labor intensive. It's not something I come home after a long day of work and I want to collapse on the couch. That it ain't it. And just yesterday I did or Sunday I did labor intensive work. My in-laws wanted me to redo their bedding, and I had to rake rocks and lay down Tide Par and re-rake the rocks back over. And it may not seem like a lot, but it took me all day. It was 8 hours of labor intensive work. So if a man is doing that type of work, yeah, the least you could do is have dinner ready for him. But not this lady. Nope. She doesn't want to do any domestic labor. She can't even schedule his doctor's appointment for him while he's working all day. My wife schedules my doctor's appointments for the most part. Sometimes I will, but for the most part, because guess what? I'm not available 8 to 5 to make those calls. I don't have the availability. She does. And if the roles were reversed and she worked during the day and I worked at night, well, I'd be scheduling her doctor's appointment because it's just she can't do it. So I would do it for her. That's what being in a relationship is about. It's covering each other's bases, helping each other out, serving one another, and not keeping record of how much the other person does, um, how much more the other person does, which is exactly what this insufferable lady does. But she doesn't stop there. So this was her kind of first viral moment. People were very unhappy about this, but she didn't stop there. So this was shared by this Candace Horvath person. A woman's love language is not having to ask. Yes, women's love languages are being able to read their minds. Something that we know that men are well equipped to do. We are just super in tune with mind reading. Every time I want to know what's going on and how to share my share love to my wife, I just channel my inner Professor X and try to read and understand what's going on in her mind. No, that's not how it works. But let's play this other video where she shares, by the way, publicly why she considered divorcing her husband.
3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive. He's kind. He's loyal. He's a great dad. He's very hands-on. He's an active participant. He's always present. Like, on paper, what else could I ask for? But in reality, my experience is very similar to the experience of other women. I had this amazing husband who on paper was great, but I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Because what happens to so many of us is that we marry these amazing men and we have amazing relationships, and then we have kids. And when we have kids, women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load. And that is exactly what happened to us. About 3 months after my 4th baby was born, I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. I need you to do more. I am exhausted. I am in charge of everyone and everything in this house. Every night when we cook dinner, you ask me what to make. Every day when you drop off the kids at daycare, you ask me what they
Wait. I'm confused because I was under the impression that she was the one, or he was the one that was cooking dinner. Was he? Isn't that what she said, that he cooks his own dinner?
need in their backpacks. I am the project manager of this home and I need you to do more. And he looked at me and he said, okay, just tell me what to do, right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I said, okay, something that would make my life easier is if in the mornings when I came downstairs with the 4 kids, because I do mornings by myself, the dishwasher was emptied, the dishes were put away, and the trash was taken out. That would make my life so much easier, because when I've got the 4 kids running around and the baby crying, I can't be looking for their favorite water bottle in the dishwasher. I just need to know it's clean. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. And so, of course, he does it. But then I have to remind him, and then he forgets. And then
Oh no. You have to remind your husband to do something. Man, husbands have never had to do that ever. Remind their wives to take care of something. We've never had to do that because women they're just perfect. They just do everything all the time, without fail. They never make any mistakes. They never forget anything. It's just men. Just men have to be reminded to do things because, we're so stupid. We can't seem to remember, God forbid you have to remind us.
I have to remind him again. And there was this one morning where I woke up and I went to put something in the trash and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle and it was in the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like,
It's really funny to me, like, how this woman is making just a just a huge deal over something very minuscule. You know, like in marriage, you have these situations where sometimes your spouse forgets to do something and they have something going on, you know? Like my wife, there's been times where I've come home and there wasn't dinner. And instead of coming home and stewing and being like, she didn't make me dinner. You know, I'm like, "Hey, hon, what you know, what happened?" "Oh," you know, or usually she'll tell me, she'll give me the heads up. "I'm sorry, the baby was crazy and she threw a fit and, you know, this happened and that happened and I just lost track of time." And, you know, me being a good husband, "Okay, I understand," you know? And there are times where, you know, I get up for work really early in the morning and I forget to take out the trash. It happens. Some days it happens. And my wife, instead of scolding me and wagging her finger at me, "How dare you?" and complaining about her, you know, emotional burden, uh, you know, understands because she's not a nagging, annoying, self-absorbed human being. She actually loves me the way Christ loves the church, and I love her the way Christ loves the church, and we are not keeping our records of wrongdoing. We actually value and respect one another. She also would never do something like this, what this woman is doing, complaining about her husband and talking about their divorce, you know, live on stream. That seems wildly inappropriate. Or live on this TikTok.
like, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me. Because what he's done has now made me late for work. And he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about the impact on me. And he doesn't see how every single thing in our home happens because I ask him to do it, or because I do it myself, or because I planned and organized it. The diaper bag is full because I filled it, right? I put the wipes in there. And I felt so frustrated. And I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone. And it's not because my husband didn't love me or he did anything to me, and it's not because I didn't love him, but because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And this dynamic, it doesn't happen by accident, right? It's not like my husband did it to me, but we've been raised in this society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages and what it looks like to be a good mom versus a good dad. And we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here. And we fell into these norms. We fell into these roles in our family despite the fact that we never wanted to. And I'm lucky, and I say lucky because I have a partner who I know loves me and wants me to be happy and was willing and able to change. And so we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our.
I would I would be very unhappy in a relationship with a person like this. She seems god awful.
Relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there. And it was well worth it. But it is not uncommon. And so if your wife is coming to you and she's saying, I'm burnt out by the mental load and I need you to do more, she's not just saying that because.
You know what I would say if my wife came to me and said, "Hey, I'm burnt out because of the mental load that I'm carrying, taking care of, you know, things around the house while also trying to work for full time." I'd be like, "Oh, sweetheart, I have a perfect solution for you. Stop working. If you're so burnt out, you know, you can't handle the mental load, stop working." It's very simple. And you know, she decries like the gender roles and the expectation, but it's exactly because she's trying to pursue, you know, her career while also juggling the responsibilities of motherhood that she finds herself in the situation she is finding herself in. While her husband is a lineman out there providing her for, you know, the roof over her head, you know? And that's something she also didn't factor in. You know, he brings nothing to the table. He's not doing anything. She has to be the project manager of the home, but she takes for granted the literal house that she's living in that her husband helps pay for. And I'm quite sure he does more than she's willing to explain on camera, but that wouldn't paint her in a positive light, yeah, because she's perfect.
Because she wants you to do more chores. She's saying that because truly It can hurt your relationship. It can ruin your marriage if you do not participate in an equitable way in your home. And so, what does that look like? What does it look like to change these dynamics? Well, we need to really assess in our homes what the work looks like. Because in most homes, the data supports this, women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do. They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon, right? And so we need to have hard conversations about what our time looks like, what our labor in the home looks like, what is invisible labor. We have to talk about these things. And when we don't, the alternative is that you no longer have a marriage, or you don't have a happy one at least. And so I share this story because I don't think I'm alone in this experience, and I want people to know that there's hope, and that if you have a willing and able partner, you can change this. You can absolutely change this dynamic.
Yeah, fellas, you can change it. Make her quit her job. I just an equitable home. Yeah, and this is one of those things where I cannot stand egalitarianism. We're not, we're not. Our roles are not interchangeable. We both have unique aspects that we bring to the table, and we can't just be swapped out for one another. And this is the problem of modern feminism. It's spawned these insane relationship dynamics, while women focus on being girl bosses, which is gonna continue to be a theme today. Now, with this video, I do like how Katie Faust responded to this. She wrote on Twitter, "Women naturally care for kids. Dads more naturally play with kids. He does not see as easily as you what needs to be done with the kids or the house. It's unfair to have him read your mind." I actually think this is true, because I, without a doubt, play with my children more than my wife does. And not to say that my wife doesn't do anything with children. Um, she absolutely does. She took my little one to the library today. She homeschools. She does crafts. She bakes with them. The relationship my wife has with our kids is different than the relationship I have with my kids. I play with them, a lot. For at least an hour or two, I was playing with my kids today. I was blindfolded, running around. I have it right here, actually. Running around the house trying to catch them, bumping into stuff. And so, yeah, I do think that's true. And yeah, you shouldn't have the expectation that your husband has to read your mind. You know, uh, just tell us what you want. That's all. Tell us what you want, and we will do it. And I know that she doesn't want to have to ask. Well, yeah, sometimes you do have to ask. Be clear. We like that. We like instructions. Just tell us what to do, and we'll do it. Doesn't mean we'll do it perfectly every single time, but a husband that loves you will put his best foot forward to help meet your needs where you are, or develop systems that would make life easier for you at home, or work harder and longer hours so that you don't have to carry such a mental load. I know I'd be willing to do that. Katie Faust continues, "Working and being a mom is tiring. The solution is not to threaten divorce. It's quit or reduce your work." Yeah, she agrees with me. "Your work while your children are small. That might mean your house is not as big as your vacation, nor your vacations as frequent, but your marriage and children are worth it." Yeah. Use that time to focus on your children. Use that time to invest in your household. Use that time to just focus on being a homemaker. And she might actually discover that while she's not pursuing her, efforts to grow her TikTok account, that she's actually happy with all of the time that she has available to spend with her kids. But this is the girl boss for you.